Holocaust Memorial Day is a significant day for the lives of many people around the world. It is a day to look back, to remember with solemnity the events that happened in the Second World War and in many events that have happened since that day. But it's also a day to reflect upon the world as we know it today, and to think about the future, the kind of future that we want to live in, the future that we need to build as responsible members of society. No one can deny the terrible events that took place in Nazi Germany and around Europe during the Second World War, in which around 6 million Jews lost their lives to an oppressive regime that targeted and profiled them based on their ethnicity and their religion. Today, as we think about the challenges of the world in which we live, those same forces which were so prevalent in Europe during the 1930s and 40s still exist within our world today. We don't have to look far in our recent memories to see places around the world where people have been targeted because of their ethnicity or their religion, or even based upon their gender or their sexuality or the colour of their skin, the faith that they profess. We want to live in a world where those things no longer happen, and that requires something of each of us to reflect upon the prejudices of our own hearts and societies so that we might build a better, more tolerant society moving forwards. But it's also this year on Holocaust Memorial Day that I reflect with great sadness what's happening in the Middle East at the moment. Absolutely, we should be outraged by the events that happened in October last year, where Hamas militants stormed into Israel and took the lives of hundreds, almost 2,000 people. And we should rightly condemn those events and stand in solidarity with those who grieve in Israel, and to hear the cries of anger and the cries of anguish. However, we also need to reflect upon and stand in solidarity with those who grieve in Gaza, where thousands and thousands of people have lost their lives in the retaliatory strikes by the Israeli government. And it is with great sadness that I reflect that those who know so well what it is to be the victim would stand so readily in this situation in the role of the oppressor. It is absolutely right and possible for us to grieve two atrocities that happen at the same time. They're absolutely right to reject the mindset that says that just because you are outraged by the attacks by Hamas on Israel, you cannot be outraged by the attacks on Gaza by the Israeli state. We can be and should be outraged at the loss of life within both, and pray for a situation where there is an end to that form of racial discrimination within the Middle East. So as we pray for a world that is more tolerant, a world that is free from prejudice, a world that is free from the violence that so often accompanies it, we need to look into our own hearts, whether we are ordinary citizens, whether we are members of government, whether we are heads of government around the world, or heads of organisations, and to say that we want to live in a different world than we saw in the 1930s and the 1940s, or even the world we're seeing today, and to do all that we can to make sure we stand alongside those who are oppressed, wherever they may be. So I pray that what we're going to explore together today gives us an opportunity to do just that. Thank you.